Shalom, Makim. I'm going to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors to elders and apostles of GMS who teach and rule well, and salutations to all Akim in all four corners of earth who's pushing his truth and sincerity. Shalom, Makim. We're going to get into this brother right here who was in the news about a week or two ago. His son runs out of a car. They say the car was stolen. The guy wasn't even driving. He was a passenger, and he runs out and automatically gets gunned down by the police. The father is called to the police station. They explain to him what happened. A few hours later, he gets in his car, and he takes vengeance upon himself and runs over a cop. The cop had nothing to do with his case, but he just runs him over and kills him. Now, in this system, there's a few things. You got this law where they got that premeditated stuff, or the law could go off of a heated situation, a moment, Any way it goes, he's fucked. But if they go off of one is going to save him from the death penalty, plain and simple. That's what I think. I don't know the logistics, but I know a lot of times when they say a premeditated murder, if he went home and thought about what he was going to do and went out and did it, then they're going to look at the death penalty and they're going to try to kill him. But if he, if it was out of a rage type of situation, if he could prove that, then they'll save him. But this is just what our people go through, and this is every year, you have a few instances, you count on both hands how many cops killed niggers, and it's just what it is, man. This is not our place of rest. We're gonna always be hunted in this place, man, and 2/3, this is just the beginning of your troubles just coming down the road, man. We've been seeing this for some time, and we've been trying to warn you to get right, because it's gonna get uglier than this. When I watched the video of the brother coming through the courtroom, he was mugging all the police, and the 2 or 3 black officers that were there, they were trying to, consult him like, hey, just calm down, these devils will fold in on you, and it'd be a wrap. They'll just say that you did something, and they could have every reason to just sit on you and smother you to death or something, and that's what's in their eyes is death, But he walked through there, and you can see he's putting fear in these devils' eyes, man, and what they want to do. This is Genesis 49:9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art going up. He stomped down, he crouched as a lion, and as a old lion, who shall rouse him up? When we see things like this happening, who's gonna rouse up our people, man? It's gonna take, they've been marching and singing. They did the Trayvon Martin thing back in the 2000 somethings. You had the George Floyds. The other guys get choked out. Then they spawned on to Esau had said, "Hey, you guys are making T-shirts and songs off this. Let's just go ahead and make a movement." And gave the Black Lives Matter movement. These different things, and they ain't done nothing for our people, man. They have done nothing for our people. The only thing that's good and the Lord requires is vengeance. But vengeance is coming through the Lord. It's not coming through, 2/3 that just decided, to take vengeance. That's just not how it goes, man. It's a process, We have to endure and understand what we're going through, man, But at the same time, we know that who's going to rouse up our people, man, They're going to continuously see on TV themselves being martyred in the streets, by the cops. Our own kind are killing each other too. But then you call the cops, and they play a game. Growing up, I seen the racist firemen. So I prayed to the Lord that nothing of mine ever caught fire. I would never have to call your 911 services, because I know how racist those firemen are, and we already know how racist the police are. But I'm speaking about the firemen and the paramedics, the motherfuckers who call you supposed to help you in a dire situation, man. They don't have to pick up. They don't have to come. They showed their ass numerous times. I watched the Katrina flood. They told Jake, to call on your God, and pass them up with the boats. Call on your God. Call your God to come and rescue you. And this is nothing new. The Roman persecution, it was telling us that. All the persecutions we've been in our enemy's hands, they've always told us to call on our God. So they knew who we were, but we did not know who we were. We just always thought that we were whatever the heathens told us to be. This is Psalm 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, my rod and thy staff, thy comfort me. And so this is what we have. We have the Lord, man, with us, man. For those of us who, the Lord has chosen and given us this word, we have our big brother. We have our big father that's gonna look out for us, our stone that's gonna protect us in these times, man. Because yes, we are in the valley of the shadow of death, which is America. It's death all around the corner. Tupac made the song out, and we used to bump it and really, really live by those words, man. Death is right around the corner. Death is knocking at your door. Death is in your door. But in order, a lot of us just believe. I should say the 2/3, they believe in their mind and their guns. Their prayers is in their guns. Their hope is in their guns. They believe they could get any situation with their 9mm. This is why they praise their guns. They praise their AK-47s. They praise the bullets they had, the 223s. These different types of caliber rounds they praise, and that's what they look forward to. That's their power. That's their glory. But we have true power and true glory, and it's in the Lord, man. It ain't in no goddamn man-made weapons. And not only that, the Lord knows He knows your heart, man. He knows your intent, and we are sick people, man. We are hurt people, man. And those that are of that prideful and we know it all heart, Lord ain't dealing with that, man. You're going to be the front line death bodies in this what's going to come, man. Because we always bring it out, and there's nothing wrong with continuously going over the same thing, because a lot of people aren't understanding. They ain't going to try to get it. But something called Jacob's trouble is coming, man. And these devils going to come down with great wrath upon you. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of broken heart, and saveth such as to be of contrite spirit. In contrite spirit, man, you hurt, man. Things aren't going your way like the song says, man, but it's not supposed to, man. We're in our punishment right now, man. And we're seeing the punishment coming off us and going on to our enemies. But at the same time, we have to endure, because we're at the last stages of this punishment, man. Psalm 34:19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivered him out of them all, man. So once again, out of all of these afflictions, all the things that's happening to us here in Babylon, the Lord is going to be the one to deliver us out of these things. Not yourself. So don't put trust into your weapons all the time, man. David used to pray to the Lord to help him fire his weapons and hit his targets, man. So how much more are you supposed to do, man? You're not supposed to take vengeance in your own hands, especially when you know what you're going up against, man. You're going up against this beast in his system. You're not going to win. As many tried, man. I always say, and I've been saying this since a kid, I believe once I start seeing a lot of these laws, I believe that the laws were made for us. I believe that a lot of the laws in America were made to put us in jail, man. Who's us Israelites, man. You see that our enemy could do the things and they get away with it. They get a tap on the shoulder. I've been in the system, and I've heard the judge tell them, hey, you're a white man and you're not going to jail. I heard him all of my ears, man. I'm standing right there just listening to everything this damn crooked-ass racist judge is telling me, waiting for my turn to get called up and for me to be sentenced while these crackers is getting away with the same crime I'm doing, but the judge is telling them that they will not survive in jail. Straight up telling them that, and this is in the South, man. This is 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeing who he may devour, man. So this devil has all sorts of fucking tricks out here, man. He has all sorts of tricks to put you in jail. And like I said, I always believe these laws were for us, man. They were for us. We are the ones that are we are the face of the jail houses. We are the face of your death rows. We're the faces of your goddamn cemeteries, man. Why? Because of a lot of these laws they've made, man. Esau's made. Once again, this is not our rest. These laws were made for us. They had something called the Reconstruction era, and those laws were very grievous. some of those laws are still implemented today. So nothing's really changed, man. The devil's heart has not changed, man. And his hatred towards you has not changed. This is Romans 12:19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord, man. And so this is once again, we're waiting on the Lord to come back, man. And he's going to ordain a few of us to put in work, man. And that's going to be a beautiful thing, man. And this is why we pray and want to stay in this ministry, because we want to see the downfall of our enemies, man. And be partakers in the downfall of our enemies too, And how are we taking part? By pushing these videos, pushing this word out, letting our people know what's going on. And then later on, we're fishermen now, and later on we become hunters. The Lord speaks about these in the scriptures, man. So these things will happen, man. All we have to do is just sit back and wait, man. So taking vengeance out on these pigs for doing wrong, and we know that they're doing wrong, it's not the thing to do, man. Just wait for the Lord, man. He said, wait on me, vengeance is mine, So, Jake was out of order for doing that. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's a few ways the law could swing. They could swing for the, death penalty, or he could get off on like an insanity charge and, and avoid all of that. But at the same time, he'll still be in that system and still have to deal with, Esau, which he really going to avoid in these last days. With that being said, I'm just edifying. Shalom, Akim.